Hey there, it's Dave, collectible connoisseur, coming right back at you. In case you just missed it, I recorded a video and talked to you about this stack of cards. I didn't really want to stretch a video too long, though. Lose your attention and those valuable views. I get like 2 per video. But I didn't want to bore both of you, and so we're going to look at this stack. And this stack was recent pickups. This stack, I collect autograph cards from players who went to high school or college in the greater Cincinnati area. And I don't know. I grew up in the greater Cincinnati area, still live there. And there's just kind of a connection that I feel towards these players. There's some sense of shared experience and understanding of kind of at least where they grew up and in some circumstances how people that are a little more contemporary. So let's take a look. Just a stack of cards that I pulled out of that collection to kind of look at. And first off, this is Andrew Brackman. Brackman went to Archbishop Moeller High School. Other famous graduates from Moeller have been featured in previous videos like Ken Griffey Jr., Buddy Bell, Barry Larkin, Brackman. So first off, Andrew Brackman is 6 feet 10 inches tall. I've met him. He was a client of a business that I was associated with. He is the largest human being I've ever seen in person. He went to Moeller, as noted, and then went to North Carolina State and was a 2-sport star. He was a legitimate, good college basketball big man, and also, an exceptional pitcher. So much so that the Yankees drafted him in the first round. Unfortunately, injuries derailed his professional career. He only ever appeared in 3 games with the Yankees, and that was all. But nice guy and incredibly big. This is Ralph Buzz Doyle. Buzz went to a rival of Brackman's school. Brackman went to Moeller. Buzz Doyle went to Elder. And honestly, there's not much that I know about him. He was this is a TCMA card from the early 70s, and it's kind of supposed to give the appearance of a 1930s card. He played in the 1930s, played with the Boston Braves and the St. Louis Browns, had about a 5 or 6 year career. Not a notable big league player, but a Elder Panther back in the day. Maybe a more notable Elder Panther. This is Jim Brosnan, and this is a 1960 Topps card. Autograph is a little faint. He signed it in a red ballpoint pen right across the bill of his hat. Brosnan is an interesting, fascinating guy. Again, Elder High School grad. Also went to Xavier University in Cincinnati. Very heady player. In fact, didn't really come to baseball until he was in high school. And prior to that, just was into books, was into music, played the trombone, piano, specializing in classical pieces. But in high school, he got in on an American Legion team, teammates with Don Zimmer and Jim Fry, a couple other West Side guys, Elder High Schools on the west side of Cincinnati. And flourished there, so much so that was drafted by the Cubs. And his minor league career was derailed a little bit when he was drafted and served in the Korean conflict. Came back, resumed pitching. And again, remember I said he's a heady guy. I'm going to get the year wrong. Let's just say the early 60s. Well, actually, I could probably tell you. No, I can't. Jim Brosnan was traded. He was with the St. Louis Cardinals at the time, traded to the Cincinnati Reds. Wrote a book, kind of a journal of his baseball year, and kind of how it felt to to feel pressured to perform, to be traded from one organization to the other, called the Long Season, and it is a baseball classic, authored by Jim Brosnan, not ghostwritten, not as told to, authored by Jim Brosnan. Throughout his career, he would submit articles to Sports Illustrated, The Sporting News, Boys Life, other periodicals, and so much. He wrote so much that, and organizations were afraid of his pen and what he might reveal, that he ended up ultimately retiring from baseball because the last team he was with, which actually was the first team that he started with, the Cubs, wanted to write into his final contract that he was not allowed to write while he was with the team. And he decided that, he was a better writer than baseball player. Went on to publish another baseball book, and I can't remember the title of that one. The Long Season is his popular one. And then was a sportscaster, and then, periodic contributor to periodicals for the balance of his life. Interesting guy, Jim Brosnan. I'm still talking about him while I'm showing you an Aaron Cook card. This is a, what year is this? This is, I have to pull this off camera to actually see it. 2007 Upper Deck. Star signings. Aaron Cook, proud graduate of Hamilton High School. We'll talk about them in just a second. Zach Day, another Cincinnati West Sider, went to LaSalle High School, and then later to the Ohio State University. I know we've seen this guy. I keep returning to this guy. The real, I spoke about, hey, I've kind of got at least a connection to these guys in that I grew up in the same area. I went to the same high school that Benintendi went to. This is a Bowman Platinum, 2016 Bowman Platinum, serial numbered 75 out of 75, the green version. Benintendi, when he was in high school, not only was he a standout from my alma mater, but when he was in high school, he set the Ohio High School Athletic Association record for career hits until it wasn't Aaron Cook's fault, but until the good folks at Hamilton High School said, wait a minute, we've been looking. They went back and reviewed the career of Mark Lewis, who was a standout player at Hamilton High School in the mid to late 80s. And said, we found 9 more hits. So Benintendi kind of had the rug pulled out from under him, but what a great hitter he was in high school. Jim Bunning. Man, here's a guy that you could tell stories about. Bunning was a graduate of St. Xavier University, St. X, the Blue Bombers. And he had, let's see if this is his full career. I think it is. So, playing from 1955 to 1964, solid 10-year career. He threw a perfect game, threw another no-hitter as well. When Bunning retired, he was second on the all-time strikeout career, strikeouts thrown in a career list. Was voted to the Hall of Fame. Post-career, you might have heard of him. He was representative in the U.S. House of Representatives for the state of Kentucky. Also a senator. Had a long political career. Mike Hirschberger. Mike Hirschberger went to the University of Cincinnati. Didn't grow up in the greater Cincinnati area. Did grow up in Ohio. I think it was Mansfield. I might be wrong about. I know he grew up in Ohio. I'm blanking on exactly where. I know it starts with an M, but it wasn't the greater Cincinnati area. But a standout player at the University of Cincinnati, had a nice little major league career. This is his 1969 Topps card, autographed and then authenticated by PSA DNA. Last one I want to look at. We'll wrap this baby up. A teammate of Jim Brosnan's when he was playing American Legion ball was Jim Fry. Jim Fry went to Western Hills High School, West High, the Mustangs, western side of Cincinnati. And Fry had a long minor league career. Never cracked the majors as a player himself, but then turned around and had a nice run as a manager. Managed the Cubs and the Royals, and just was generally well regarded. This is a 2005 Topps Retired Signature Series card. So Jim Fry and all the other Cincinnati guys will be back again sometime soon to show you a little bit more, talk about my favorites out of my PC. Have a good evening.